At this time, we will call this meeting to order. At this time, Commissioner Studevant will do our invocation.
Let us bow in prayer, please. Gracious Father, it's again that we come to you today, God, not only bowing in our hearts, but humbly submitting ourselves to you. And God, we are asking for protection. God, we ask you to protect our essential workers, protect our elderly. God, we ask you to not only protect Anson County, but protect your nation. God, we thank you in this time that we're being bombarded with so much information that we know we can still find strength in you. God, we ask you to shelter us. We ask you to shelter us physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And we're going to give you the thanks. Because in all things, we still going to humbly thank you. Because I know it's going to get better. We ask you that tonight we come together as a group to do your will, to know that we are here because of the citizens of Anson County. And that we're going to do the right thing to take care of them. In thy name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
A minister couldn't have spoke to God better.
At this time, we're going to have a roll call. Commissioner Woodburn.
Here.
Commissioner Bobby Sykes.
Here.
Dr. Jimmy Sims.
Here.
Commissioner Vancine Studevant.
Here.
Commissioner Harold Smith. Commissioner Lawrence Gatewood.
Here.
Thank you. I'd like to remind the board this afternoon, does any board member have a conflict of interest concerning any agenda item that we will discuss tonight? If not, do we have an approval of the agenda by commissioners?
I move we approve it.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Sykes and second by Commissioner Woodburn. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. At this time, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda that consists of the minutes, property tax refund and adjustment, and Central Carolina workforce development?
Second.
Josh.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Dr. Sims, second by Commissioners Sykes and Woodburn. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. At this time, do we have any public addresses to the board? And I'll turn it over to our attorney, Mr. Forbes.
Yes, you do, Chairman Streeter. Thank you very much. We have received one public comment to the board. Notice for this was properly posted on the outside of the building and on our website as per required by the North Carolina General Statutes. These comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. This comment was received by Mrs. Rose Young, and it's regarding the Westview Cemetery located on Henry Street and Madison Avenue. She has requested, I will read it as verbatim. I'm requesting that you please discuss the cleaning of the old Westview Cemetery at your meeting today. The Friends of Old Westview Cemetery Incorporated 501c13 has been working to keep this cemetery maintained for the last 18 years. In 2006, we had cemetery signs installed on Henry Street and Madison Avenue. In 2015, the cemetery was deemed historic by the State of North Carolina Department of Cultural Resources. That is the Office of the Archives and History. It was certified Westview Cemetery, Wadesboro, Anson County. It has been entered into the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of Interior, April 29th, 2015. The corporation has worked hard to get the Black Cemetery deemed historic, and thought the city of Wadesboro and Anson County could recognize this burial ground of the folks who helped build Wadesboro and Anson County, and not let their final resting places be forgotten. Also, this burial ground should not be identified with other cemeteries in the county. This is the only historic cemetery in your county, and funds for the North Carolina prisoner should maintain it. The mayor of Wadesboro speaks to the cemetery being privately owned. The reason the late attorney Robert Little worked with Friends of the Old Westview Cemetery Incorporated is that you can't get any property deemed historic if it is abandoned. So the corporation was formed, and its goals were to hire a historian and surveyor to get the history of the cemetery. Yes, we worked hard to get all the money to have this done. They received a phone call, and the grass was very tall. The trash was lying all around the cemetery. Trees had been cut around the cemetery, and tree limbs were lying across the graves. The cemetery's property should be protected. It includes historic. Thanks for discussing this historic property at your meeting. We have contacted several organizations to get grants, but have not been successful, and have put out to families who have family buried in the cemetery. No, this corporation is not the business for selling plots. However, folks are being buried, and we have not received any types of documentation to prove plot ownership. Ms. Rose Sturdivant Young, President Founder of Friends of Old Westview Cemetery. Thank you. Ms. This section does not allow for response from the board, Ms. Young, if you would please contact my office anytime tomorrow at 704-694-4444. I'll be glad to discuss this matter with you. I may have some suggestions, and I've looked into this matter before. Thank you. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Ford. All right, I guess that is the only public address that we have tonight. We'll move along to our administrative matters. Our Human Source Director, Rosalind Ingram.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Board. Tonight I have 9 proposed policies for you. There's a little change.
Having trouble here with
Can y'all hear? Okay, you speak up, please.
Can you hear me now?
Can-
Do I need to take my mask off? That's muffling my voice or not.
Mr. Manager, Mr. Attorney.
I'm fine with you keeping the mask on. I just can you speak a little bit louder.
Okay. Can y'all hear me now? I'm sorry, I'm soft spoken.
Can you all hear her now?
better, much better.
Okay. Tonight I have 9 proposals for you. I'm not asking for a motion, but want to give you all a heads up of some policies that we're working on as far as some changes. The first one, which is a brand new policy that's in your packet, is labeled 4A1A, and it is Anson County Infectious Disease Policy. Right now, we do not currently have an infectious disease policy. The purpose of this policy is to minimize the impact of contagious illnesses and diseases on the citizens and the public. It also lists the possible diseases. It's not all inclusive, but there's some things that may be included, like the flu and our current pandemic, like the COVID-19. We also have in this policy what the County of Anson responsibilities would be, what the employee's responsibilities are, and what the supervisor's responsibilities are. And then we also have a section in here about health epidemics and pandemics, which is what we're currently going through. And then at the bottom, we have a section about reassignments and temporary hiring. Ooh, sorry, it's kind of hard to talk with this mask on. Did anybody have any questions about the current policy? Right now, the attorney and I are working on revising it and tightening it up, and then we'll present the final draft to you guys next month.
Any questions?
Nothing jumped out. This is Charles Woodburn. Nothing jumped out at me as I read it. I think it's very well written.
I agree with Jarvis. I agree with Jarvis. You did an excellent job on that, sweetheart.
Okay,
Thank you.
The other two changes, well, the rest of the changes, number 2, will be in relation to Appendix N if it's adopted next month. And it's allowing our share leave policy. Right now, you can only transfer vacation only to a non-family member. So if Appendix N is adopted, we would like to allow sit-to-sit transfers in those situations as well. And then number 3 is about the holiday for the 4th of July, as far as adding the Tuesday and the Thursday, when the 4th of July falls on one of those days, by allowing the extra floating holiday. And then sections 4 through 8 in your packets is about comp time. What we would like to propose is changing it to where comp time will be used first, and that's in relation to when you're requesting sick time off, vacation time off, and also when they're out for medical leave. And then the last part in your, did someone have a
That's a
question?
good move also. Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're trying to remove that liability by using comp time.
Say what now?
See, Mrs. England is a very smart lady.
Thank you. And then the last one is in relation to the overtime for the state of emergency for exempt and non-exempt employees. We would like to provide additional clarification as far as getting approval, and that's what that last section is about. Did anybody have any questions?
Yeah, and there's 2 of them, one on 49 and one starts on 53. It looks like they're exactly the same, so I guess there's no difference in the 2 that I could see.
Which one, sir?
The first one's on page 49, and then the second one on page 53. Both of them say overtime, and from the way I read it, they're exactly the same, so I guess this is just duplication. At least in my packet, that's the way it is anyway.
49 and 53.
That's 8 and 9.
Okay.
Remember, they're all the same.
Okay. Number 8 and 9, Commissioner Wilburn, is that correct? That's who it sounds like. Is that Commissioner Wilburn?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah,
8 and
yeah,
9?
Page 49 is section 9 overtime.
Yes, sir.
It's Article 3, the pay plan, and then on page 53, got the same thing.
Yes,
Article 3,
sir.
the pay and section 9 overtime, so it looks like a duplication. I didn't see any difference in the 2 of them.
There's not. Actually, it's 2 parts of that policy that we're looking at changing. Part 1 is number 2, which is the compensation time. That goes with number 8. And then number 9 is relation to the emergency overtime during the state of emergency.
Right, and I said it's the same in both of them.
Yes, sir. They're the same. We just want to make it easier since there were 2 different items. So we put it in there twice, so you have it together.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other questions? All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move right along to number 5, our appointments.
Chairman Schrader, I believe we need a vote for that, correct?
We do not. We have not presented them. We just wanted to inform the board that we're making those changes, and next month we will present those for approval.
I'm having trouble here.
Mr. Monroe, will you speak up, please, sir?
No problem. We will not be voting on those policy changes tonight. However, we will make changes as according to our attorney's instructions on the wording and phrasing. And next month, we'll bring those back to the board for a vote.
Thank you.
I really thank you for that, because I had a question about all that overtime.
Okay, you want to go ahead and ask?
No, I'll hold off to see what you're going to do, because I truly believe we were getting tipped about that overtime. I'll wait and bring it up next time.
I think we have in the past.
Research first.
I agree, in the past, I think we have.
Yeah, I truly believe, yeah. But I like to really do my research before I bring something up.
Okay, thank you,
I
Commissioner.
believe if we were getting, yeah, I'll leave it right there.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. You're not by yourself. Okay. Our first appointment is the SPCC Board of Trustees, and they are asking
Hello?
okay, I'm looking at this. They're asking for us to reappoint Mr. Kenneth W. Horn to the South Piedmont Board of Trustees.
So moved. I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Dr. Sims and a second by Commissioner Studevant and Woodburn. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Board of Health, on page 58, they are asking us to reappoint Beth Diggs to the Anson County Board of Health for another 3-year term.
I will make that motion. This is Lawrence Gatewood.
Okay, we have a motion. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood and a second by Commissioner Woodburn. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Central Carolina Workforce on 59. They are asking that we reappoint Christina Forbes, representing, she with the Southern Piedmont Piping, Miss Lula Jackson with the Anson County Social Service Board. I'm sorry, with Anson County. Okay. There for 2-year terms, all right. Are you making a motion for both of them?
Chairman, I motion to reappoint Ms. Christina Forbes, Ms. Lola Jackson. Ms. Caroline Goins.
Okay, Miss Carolina going. I'm looking at this thing.
Completely.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion for all three?
Mr. Gatewood already made it. He made it
Okay,
before you finished.
I didn't hear. I didn't. Okay, I thank you, but I didn't hear him. All right.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It's not. I'm not really getting old. I just can't hear. Okay, we have a motion, and do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood and a second. Yeah, Commissioner Woodburn did second. Okay, all in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. It's not easy conducting a meeting over the telephone. At this time, we'll move right along to our manager report. Mr. Monroe.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
Our manager's report.
Yes, ma'am. The manager's report. First things first, we look at the COVID-19 response for the county. And recently, yesterday, we opened up the county a little bit to return to normal working hours. We have now, in the county, we're working 8:30 to 5 o'clock like normal. However, we have made some changes. As you can see, we're wearing masks. We have required that everyone who comes into the county buildings to be covered with a face covering or a mask to receive service. This will be going on indefinitely until we find a time in which we've been advised by the state or federal government to change such a policy, or to say that this COVID-19 pandemic has ceased. So right now, we will be having a no mask, no service policy across the entire county organization. We also have jumped into social distancing. It looks different for every department, but for this building right here, we will be limiting the number of people in our lobby to 5 people at any given time, so as to increase distance between individuals and not to allow people to congregate to spread the disease. We will also, in some departments, be looking at appointments only and going to certain areas of the building to not allow the public to move throughout the building potentially unadvised. So COVID-19 response is right now, we're moving toward there. There's another piece to this, is that over the last 3 weeks, we've restricted part-time employment for those individuals who have a part-time job in the healthcare industry. That includes, but not limited to, emergency services or rescue squads, working in nursing homes, working in hospitals. We have restricted them for doing such during this time period. What we've now decided to do, along with the governor opening up things on May 8th, is to walk that back, to now have those people be allowed to work in those part-time professions with the change of the governor's stance and the walking back of the stay-at-home order starting on May 8th. So that was a temporary policy put into place. It is now going to be walked back on Friday due to the governor's order coming up. That's all I have for that's all I have for the COVID-19 response.
We just had something come through.
That's what I saw, yeah.
If you all will look at your number.
Still be a concern about nursing homes? Like as I understand it from the reports that are being made, that's still an issue and a concern there.
If you will look at your phone, commissioners, you should have just got a email from the governor's office. I just received it.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead, Mr.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, Commissioner Woodburn?
Well, since Mr. Chairman said we got something from the governor, just go ahead. I'll look at it and I may talk to you later.
No problem. In regards to the DMV, the license plate agency, you can walk in right now to the government center and pay your registration and vehicle taxes. No appointment necessary. Any other questions besides? Having no other questions, I'll move on to the next piece.
Okay.
Okay. Next on the manager's report is the Agricultural Civic Center. This project has been on the list of things to do for the last several years. And given the current state of affairs, being the COVID-19 and the restrictions that have been placed on society in general, we've decided to turn back those dollars. We've been requested by a donor, a significant donor, to return those donations back to them, given that the COVID-19 pandemic has put some financial hardships on industries and individuals. And we think as the county, that is my recommendation as the county manager, and I'm asking the board for this approval, to return the dollars back to the donors for the Agricultural Civic Center to a tune of $269,000 that the county in its possession has. Now, over the last several years, the county has received donations from these individuals as well as the AEDC. The county is responsible for returning the dollars that it has in its purview, which is the $269,000. The AEDC has money as well, and there are also dollars in the URA Bank. We will make an effort to get all those dollars returned to the donors, but the county is responsible for returning the county's dollars, the ones that we have received. And again, that's $269,375. And we want to make that happen as soon as possible. But before we do that, we want to ask the board for approval for doing such.
Okay, board, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve to return their funds back to them, their donations back.
I'll second that.
I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah.
We have a motion by Commissioner. We have
Just for information purposes, actually, that was going to be the topic that was going to be discussed at the committee's March meeting. And as we know, that could not happen because of the current situation. But at this point, where the Agri-Civic Center is on our capital improvement plans, and I think with people following, just looking at the priorities at this point in time, at whatever, I think it's a good idea that we return all of the funds, what the county has and what the AEDC has. And at whatever point in time, if this project becomes viable, the county initiated, and then at that point in time, these donors will probably come back and support it again. So I support returning all the funds.
I agree with Mr. Whitman.
Okay, do we have any further discussion? All right, Commissioner, I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk, did you get the motion? Who made the motion?
Commissioner Sterling made a motion. Vice Chair Woodman made a second.
Okay, all right, now we got it, Commissioner Sterling and Commissioner Sims. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. The next thing we have to discuss is the DSS building update. As of right now, we are putting together a proposition for, excuse me, let me walk it back. The group that we want to work with in designing the DSS building is C.F. Smith. They are currently working on drawing up a lease. However, the lease is not anything that we're going to sign or do anything with until we get approval from the board to move forward with this. But we'll have, that lease is about a 60-day process, and they started about 2 weeks ago. So by the end of June, we should have a copy of the lease, and we can dissect it for you to go into what the particulars are in regards to the lease. But they are moving, they would like to move forward, and this is a discussion in the budget topic that we would like to have with the board to make sure that we're on the same page moving forward, and if we want to move forward with it in this current guise. It is a proposition that works well for the county. There is a question that was asked by Commissioner Gatewood earlier this week in regards to how much the county will be paying for this building over the next 30 years. And real quickly, the amount that we will be paying is over $7 million, not $12 million. The $7 million is the dollars that we will pay over the 30 years, and that's based off the state reimbursement of a 55-45 split. Again, we will not have to maintain that building. It would be, they will be the landlord, CS will be the landlord, and we will just pay monthly rent to them for the duration of 30 years if we choose to go that far with the project. The benefits to this thing is pretty numerous, but we can discuss that at another time. But right now, we are looking at putting this into the budget, and we will present it to you and ask that you make a up or down vote on moving forward with the project.
I make a motion that we move forward with the project.
I don't think, Commissioner Sterling, I don't think he want to do a motion right now. He want to give us more information.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. I'd hate to cut in, but okay, I hate to cut in, but talking about that item, I think that we're gonna have to have another meeting, and we'll discuss that when we get to the chairman report.
Okay.
Mr. Manager, I'm sorry.
No problem. Okay, any other questions regarding the DSS building? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the next and last item, the middle school project. Last Tuesday, the the Board of Education and the BOC had a joint informational meeting to discuss the Anson Middle School project. And in short, we saw that the project has increased in costs, going from $46 million to $42 million. $52 million, excuse me, $52 million.
That's 52, is that correct?
52, yes sir, 52 million. What also has happened in the financing scheme of this is that the state never approved a budget. Part of our financing strategy was to have $11.8 million come from the state to help finance the building of this project when it was $46 million. Since then, it's gone up to $52 million, and we've lost the opportunity to have $11.8 million. So we've seen a $17 million gain or change about hands. That makes this project, as it's currently constituted, pretty difficult to move forward with. However, we're not disputing the claim or the need for a middle school, not at all. It's the financing strategy behind this. And because worst case scenario, we're looking at a significant tax rate increase to cover a $52 million middle school, we are wanting to have a reset in deciding what this school looks like and what it can be. Right now, the way in which it's designed and the cost that comes along with it would be an undue burden on the taxpayer potentially, looking anywhere between an 11-cent best case scenario to a 20-cent tax rate increase at the worst case scenario. So that's where we stand right now in regards to that building, that project, financing wise.
Any questions or any comments from the commissioners? I'll start with
I
Dr.
have some points I'd like to make, but I don't know if this is the appropriate time or if you'd rather I'd wait for a commissioner concerns. Or would you like me to make them right now, right quick?
Let's go ahead and do it now, Dr. Sims.
All right, I don't think Mr. Monroe will mind. I'm pro-school, everybody knows I'm pro-school. I hope I'm also a reasonable businessman. I know that we need a school. The school's in bad shape, and obviously everybody agrees. So far, we only have a prototype for school, and it's a prototype much bigger than the school that we're talking about in Anson County. I don't know what they're basing their cost on. If they're basing it on this big prototype or the smaller school, one is for about 900 students, the other is about 600 students. This is bad financial times, as Mr. Monroe said. You had Walmart closing. You got the virus. The county will have financial impacts. The sales tax will be decreased. And I suspect, but don't encourage, that tax collections will be much decreased. We need to determine what we need and what we can afford. This has just been dropped out of the sky, more or less. I haven't seen anything concrete. The school board will need time to sell the school and to sell it to the public, both the price and the type school and the content and the site. It's their job to do the selling. It's not our job to be a scapegoat. There's a real possibility. I know that we will realize some possible inflation, but it could also be negated by the fact that a lot of projects are going to be delayed because people are going to have to put them off. I really suggest that we just tell the school board that we're going to wait a year and that we don't rush into massive problems with very little information. I think we need to wait and others can disagree. I certainly won't argue with anybody, but we're jumping into something that hadn't been well thought out, that hadn't been well planned, hadn't been acted on by the public, and the school board needs time to sell it to the public, need time to see what the finances are going to be, and by the way, they're going to have new board members and new superintendent in November. That's about it. I have more, but I'll discuss it later with Mr. Monroe.
I agree with Dr.
It'll
Sims.
be in place in 1st of June if it goes as planned.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Sims. This need to go back to the board and they need to sell this to the public because I don't think the commissioners need to put this kind of tax burden on our citizens. And I think also this school is, I don't think we can afford a school like this. I think we need to get the school board members and some commissioners involved and come up with a plan that we can afford and then sell it to the public.
And Mr. Chairman, I put that out there more than one time. Also, the county manager and the finance director, Mr. Garner, has put that before the committee and then actually before the school board. But as you can see, this is the result that we have gotten. It instead of coming with, they were told that the cost of the school when it was $46,800 needed to be reduced by about 25%, and as you can see, it's actually gone up about 10%. So we have to come together and figure out what, something that we can afford. And I agree with what's been said. And school board's got a lot of ownership in this, getting the public involved, and then that's what the public wants, because I don't think taxpayers can afford that type of an increase unless they say they want it. And I'd still be hesitant to give it, but if they ask for it, then I guess I can go along with it.
Okay, I think the other day I asked a question, and we have about 20,000 parcels in this county. And out of those parcels, I think we have about 11,000 taxpayers. So that burden will be put on those people that pay taxes.
I agree.
So,
I shouldn't say this, but having looked at the prototype, I believe it's a lot of excess that could be removed.
I agree. So, any other comments about the school before we move on to my report? It'll come up again in my report.
I'm thinking we probably need to make some contact with the superintendent and the school board and get to work on this thing so that decide where we're gonna go as far as, and they need to know what's expected of them. I don't know if they understand it yet.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't believe they do.
Okay. In my report, I'm asking that we have a special meeting, and maybe we need to do this at Lockhart Taylor where we got plenty of room, and we need to get the school board members there and commissioners, and we also need to talk about our budget, because June and July I'll be here, and I know the manager and the finance people's gonna come to us with some recommendation, but I think we need to give them some guidance what we want to do.
What date you talking about doing this, Commissioner Streeter?
Having a meeting at Lockhart Taylor will be spaced apart.
Yes, sir, I'm saying, what date are you talking about doing that?
I need some dates from the board. Y'all look at your calendars if you can.
Chairman Street, we like to keep it on a Tuesday.
No, it don't have to be on Tuesday.
Will we be given one of those, white masks that our county manager is wearing at this time?
Oh yeah, I'll bring it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Commissioner Gabriel.
For Mr. Monroe, and that is, how much have we spent in design engineering fees so far on the new middle school?
Well, combined, the total number expended right now is about $930,000.
You can't hear him speak, Mr. Miller. Can you speak up?
Yep. The total dollar amount right now for the middle school that has been expended is $930,000. Now, that is, the majority of that's coming from the school because that's a $15 million grant that they received, so it's 3 to 1. We've spent just under, the county, just under $250,000. Total $930,000 that's been expended on this project already.
Could you tell me one more time that amount, because I can't hear it?
$930,000.
$930.
Yes, sir.
I have a great deal of difficulty hearing this Monroe. I don't think it's his voice, I think it's my connection.
Okay,
I'd just like to put something out there since it's been put on the table. We've had the Agri-Civic Center project and now the middle school. And I've mentioned this to Mr. Monroe actually just today, and I'm thinking that a procedure needs to be put together and put on the county website. And this procedure can be developed and reviewed by the board and that type of thing. But where I'm going with this is, and I'm just throwing numbers out there that it can be decided what they need to be. But just say, for example, this procedure would say that any project on the low side, excess of $1 million would follow this procedure so that we can determine up front before money is spent for design, engineering, and architectural firms and all this kind of stuff, and determine whatever that project is, what the maximum spend is up front. Just say, for example, if a group comes before the commission for something we're responsible for doing or something they want to do, and we can put a target figure out there not to exceed. Just say, I use the Civic Center for example, a not to exceed figure of, and I'm just throwing numbers now, $25 million. So that way they know up front before any engineering, architect, any of this stuff is done that you have to spend money on before it even starts, that this is the figure that you're shooting for. If this project exceeds this number, then it's not feasible. We can't do it. In other words, we will determine something that we can forward up front before we start spending money, rather than
I agree 100%.
spending money and to a point and find out we can't do it, and then we got $200,000 or $300,000, $500,000 spent, and it's just gone. So that's something I'd like for the county manager to work on, and we'll bring it back to the board, and we can get it in place, and once it's approved, get it on our website so that the community knows this is the procedure that has to be followed before any dollars can be spent on any project.
Mr. Whitman, can you hear me?
Yes.
I agree with you 100%. I don't know how in the world this happened. Usually, you don't start on a project till everything's been approved. The school board just started on a project without approval of the money, without going to the public, without any bonds being voted on, anything. They just started a project.
Yeah, and basically, in all fairness to everybody involved, as far as the school board and the middle school and the Agri-Civic Center, and in all fairness to everybody involved, matter of fact, we as a board committed to the Agri-Civic Center. Of course, it was a much lower price at the time. But we get started on these projects, and then you get to a point where you got to spend money, and that's where the issue. So we need something in place that we know up front what the maximum cost is, and that can be a plus or minus, but before you get started spending money, you know the figure that we can afford. That way, if they come back with a number, if anybody comes back with a number we know up front we can't afford it, then we don't get to go ahead and spend any money. Until they get it within the range that we can afford.
Okay, I agree with that. If everyone will look at their calendar, the week of the 17th, Miss.
Chairman Street, excuse me, can I make another comment, please?
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Commissioner Gatewood.
So far, the school system has spent $900,000, round numbers. They're pretty far down the road. In fact, in the joint conference call that we had with them last Tuesday, I believe I heard Jim say that they are about 50% complete with the construction document. That means they got their design, and now they're preparing construction documents to go out for bid.
You are correct.
Now, if we...
I can't hear. I don't know why, but I just barely hear people and not enough to understand them.
Chris, is anything we can do?
Right now, the school board is far out in their planning process. They have spent $900,000 in design and engineering, and they're in the process of completing the construction document. In fact, I heard the superintendent say they're about halfway through with construction documents.
Unbelievable.
If we had to go back to the drawing board and redesign this building, we're going to spend another $900,000 if we're not careful.
I agree.
That's what that.
Building large, no question about it. But we're building this building to accommodate students for the next 50, 75 years or more. Who knows what's going to happen down the road? The worst thing that we could do is construct the building too small.
Well, I'd like to interject there. There's an interesting comparison that we've come across recently. Rutherford County, which is on about an hour north, or hour west, of the Charlotte metro area, in 2018 also received the needs-based grant. They are building a middle school with 900 students for about $31 million. So significantly less than what we have seen right now And that is something to be discussed. I think there are ways to build a middle school for cheaper for more students, to everyone's point, but something that will not already cost us significantly more down the road. So a reset may be necessary to start this project wholeheartedly, to the point that we set the price tag at $30 some odd million, and that's where we need to be. And nothing more, nothing less. That way we can make sure that we get what we want out of this project. If it could be done in Rutherford County, it could be done here. So, that's just...
You have some things in this floor plan. Let me mention a couple of things. You have a gym, and then you have an extra gym. You have a massive auditorium. Why do you need 2 gyms and 1 auditorium in a 600 people school? For example, I could go on and on.
Okay, these are things that we will discuss at our meeting with the school board, because, you know, if we have to, we just have to get a committee of both boards and maybe some citizens and come up with a plan that we can afford.
One of the things, and that was, I'm sorry, can I speak, Commissioner Street?
Yes, ma'am, go right ahead.
One of the things, and that Mr. Woodburn, Commissioner Woodburn stated a few minutes ago, and I alluded to it in my prayer, is that we have citizens, and Commissioner Streeter, you said something a little while ago about the taxpayers of Anson County. If you look at the makeup of Anson County, and I deal with quite a few of our elderly that are on, and Ross, you've been up there with me to talk to them, go in there with them when they talk to Mr. Didden, on fixed income that can't even afford to pay their taxes, but they pay what they can, and you'll put them, and you really work with them, him and Mr. Newton, and put them on a payment plan. We started out, because Mr. Woodburn is on the board, on that committee, and I truly believe in the education. I truly know our kids need a school, but the jump from $40,000 to $50-something thousand, that's a lot of money to put on Anson County.
May I add something?
Go ahead.
Mr. Streeter, may I add something?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
This is along with what Mrs. Woodburn, what Mrs. Sturdivant was saying. Ms. Sturdivant, I think they also have not allowed, and maybe you or Mr. Woodburn can tell me, for all of the equipment, all of the technology, all of the outside shrubbery and appearance, all of the desks, all of the tables, all of the equipment that's going to go in the cafeteria, all of the things that will go inside of, probably in the gym be included, but you got locker rooms and all that type thing. I wonder if all those things were included in the 52 million. I want to be 52 million plus.
Yeah, I think it's in there, isn't it, Jarvis?
Yes, Dr. Sims, they've got FFE, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, $1 million. They've got technology at $1 million. Let's see what else. So yeah, they pretty much covered everything as far as the 8803. They've got all that in there. But back to I think where we are right now, the best thing for us to do is, like the chairman saying, Mr. Streeter, is hold a meeting as soon as we can, and along the lines of what Dr. Sims is saying, the public needs to be involved, the community needs to be involved to determine if they can stand this. But I think at the same time, we need to be looking at ways to reduce that cost. I really do.
Yes, I agree. If you all will look at your calendars, and Ms. Clerk, we come up with the week of the 17th. Would that give us enough time?
Commissioner Streeter, is it not, and we have a fantastic clerk over there, is it not in our minutes about 4 months ago or more that we stated that price was too high, that 46, about taking it down the first time.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you go taking it down to it going up?
I don't know, can't answer that. But we had asked.
No, at the committee meetings, it was put on the table, it was too high.
I know it was, I was there.
I think we had asked them to cut it
I
10
remember.
million, and they come back with 10 million the other way.
I'm talking about the board meeting, excuse me.
Okay, the week of the 17th.
This, Ms. time frame, it's been months back that it was, that they were made aware that the.
But we couldn't do it.
I think at one meeting, Mr. Gatewood had some figures of some schools that was 31, 36. Is that right, Mr. Gatewood?
You are correct, but those figures are 18 months of age, and we've seen construction inflation. I mean, double-digit inflation over the last 2 years. So what was 36? I mean, it could easily be 40 million plus now.
But it wouldn't be 52, would it?
I would not.
Okay. The week of the 17th, what is some good dates? Good days. And I think we need to have this meeting early in the day. Because we're going to discuss with the school board, and then we'll go into our budget.
We go what, Ross? Which week?
The 17th.
What is that date now? I can't hear.
The week of the 17th.
17th of what month?
May.
But Dr. Tim, the 17th is on a Sunday, so he's either looking at.
Can't hear at all. I don't know what's wrong with my location, but I just can't hear.
Dr. Simba, it'll be the week of the 17th. The 17th is on a Sunday, but some days after that Sunday.
Yeah, it would be the 18th through the 22nd. Can you hear that?
Correct.
What month?
May.
I can barely hear. What month?
May.
May.
Still not here.
Let me throw May the 19th out there, that's Tuesday.
May the 19th?
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing? I can't hear.
Yes, sir.
I can't hear. May 19th?
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes.
Let me go look on my calendar right quick. Maybe if I change rooms, I'll be able to hear better.
Hey, I tell you what, look at another date if that one doesn't work for you.
Chairman,
Let's give the school board people two dates.
we recommend that we don't have the 20th. Staff has a training,
Okay.
so we can't make that one. If we could pick another day besides the 20th.
And
we're
if
fine.
not the 20th, we have a staff training on that day.
So the 19th or the 21st?
Mr. Monroe, you're breaking up. I cannot hear you.
He have a,
19th's all right with me.
The 19th or the 21st?
will the 19th or the 21st work for everyone?
Hey, I got good sound again. I came to another place.
All right, will the 19th,
19th and 21st is good for me.
19th's all right with me. I hear very well now.
how about the 21st, Dr. Sims, if they can't meet on the 19th?
Hold a second.
19th or 21st, our clerk will check with the school board and ask,
The 21st late in the evening, but can't go in the morning.
okay, but in the morning,
Doctor's appointment in Charlotte.
okay, you can do the afternoon of the 21st. Okay,
It'll have to be late afternoon.
late afternoon.
He said the appointment is in Charlotte, Ross.
Oh, okay,
Well, I'll coordinate with them and get back with you.
okay, let's go with the 19th, just tell them they need
The morning of the
call a
19th?
meeting, yeah, morning 19th.
All right.
Okay, our clerk gonna check with the school board clerk.
Here just now.
Okay, our clerk gonna check with the school board clerk, and let's try to set this meeting for the morning of the 19th. And we want to have it at Lockhart Taylor where we will be at least 10 foot apart.
Sounds good. Wear the mask.
Okay, we'll move right along. I don't have anything else. Commissioners' concerns. Do we have any commissioners' concerns?
Only concern I have is about rescue people, and they say that's gonna be back to normal Friday, right?
When the governor comes out with he relinquishes that stay-at-home order, he rescinds that, we will be going back to allowing our staff to work part-time, which will be back at rescue squads. Yes, sir.
Are there any other commissioner concerns?
I'm good. I am one.
Okay,
That is the emergency services. Really appreciate the new landscape, and it looks very, very nice. And I want to applaud.
I can't hear her.
Mr. Gatewood, repeat, we can't hear you.
Well, that's all right. I'll skip it. I'll share it next time.
Okay, you can do it on the 19th. Thank you, sir. Okay, are there anything else to come before the board tonight? If not, can I ask to get a motion to recess?
Oh, yeah, 19th, I'm good.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I've got one thing real quick, and I didn't think about it earlier.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Woodburn.
I got a letter from the local government commission. I'd like for Monroe to let us know where we stand. Basically, I guess we've got a reputation with them that we don't do audits on time. It's just to make a long story short. And where I'm going with the thing is, I know we've made some changes. He's upgraded a position and hired an assistant finance officer. Where are we and what we need to do to get back in good standing with the local government commission? So the audit that was just finished was 2018, so now we owe to 2019. I know I'm talking about a lot of different things, but I was a little bit concerned about this letter we got.
Okay, Mr. Garner gone. Our finance officer gone.
Board members, can everyone hear me okay? So the letter that we received is essentially a form letter. If you look back, it's the same letter that we received last fall, and we did basically a response with a corrective action plan, which is the same thing that we've enacted that you just talked about with the position, with the software. The training that Mr. Monroe was talking about that we would not be available for on the 20th is the third day of training on the new finance software package. So all the things that we put in place over the last year and a half are finally coming to fruition. It's just we're still working out of the bad, or out of the tardiness, so to speak.
Okay, is there anything left to do on the personnel side?
No, sir. No, we're fully staffed
I
there.
have just one quick question. Mr. Monroe, how you think the budget's gonna look?
We're working on it. There are some concerns with sales tax dollars and revenue, but we're gonna make it work. There's gonna be some tough decisions that we have to make, but I think we're gonna be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we recess until, well, we need to do a date, don't we?
The 19th.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we recess until May 19th.
At what time?
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
What time?
10 o'clock.
Okay.
We have a motion. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Woodburn and a second by Commissioner Stedman. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
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 Opposed? Recess to May the 19th at 10 o'clock at Lockhart Taylor.
Sounds good.